時間です。
Tell me, is it a fog or is it me? Show a country, speak of a culture in whatever way, and you will enter into fiction while yearning for invisibility. Raver's madness, a new form of kindness. How tall is Japan? Height, weight, age? Japanese written on every facet of life, calligraphy in the 1,000 places of neon signs. The speed of light. Where are you now? In a train, facing the window screen, second-class seat, speeding through Japan's likeness. As people say here, in a good talk, don't explain everything. Rituals and the formation of identity, the skill of behavior, the craft of framing time, the art of path. Why travel, if not to be in touch with the ordinary in non-ordinary ways? The bullet train, part of a new class structure, the luxury of going faster while sitting in one place. Start in a room sealed with darkness, and a window immediately etches itself onto the viewer's mind. Again, it's that unbearable fellow traveler who won't stay behind, who one cannot get rid of. Opening at dawn, closing at dusk. Sorrows forming and falling away, heavy, like drops of water from a lotus leaf. Every day from a blossoming lotus, something's emerging. Every day from deep in the mud, someone's being reborn. Painting, photography, and cinema used to offer different realms of images. Today, the gap becomes the bridge. What tends to separate film from video can offer a passage, a world not of motion pictures, but of images on the move. Pushing, no piercing. The match lasts the time it takes for horns to unlock. No crisis, no bloodshed, when gravity is the root of lightness. The seated interface carries with it a danger, both geophysical and spiritual, that of body losing touch with body. Every day, controlled by a computer brain in Tokyo, over 150 bullet trains crisscross Japan. Their whereabouts neatly mapped in tiny lights on wall panels. The truly real world is there where you see trains. For Soseki Natsume, Nothing represents better the civilization of the 20th century than the train. Hundreds of people crammed in a box that rumbles along heartlessly, all taken at uniform speed to the same station. He wrote, "Modern civilization uses every possible means to develop individuality, and having done so, tries everything in its power to stamp it out. It allots a few square yards to each person and tells him that he is free to lead his life as he pleases within that area, at the same time as it erects railing around him and threatens him with all sorts of dire consequences if he should dare to take but one step beyond their compass. The railway train which blunders ahead blindly into the pitch of darkness is one example of the very obvious dangers which abound in modern civilization. Inside, outside, host, guest, the role assigned like the role assumed, at first seems fixed, carefully enforced, scrupulously performed. But once the initiation rites have passed, from one closure to another, the inside surreptitiously draws its elements from outside, without being any less inside, meticulously adapted, extended, and transformed. Nothing is natural, for the natural in its most natural is carefully created.
"このわろがこちら向くまで座りみよ、勝手隠さぬおのが面目行動じゃ."
In the matted room, a solitary painting, barely line, barely shape, that frail shadow of a bodhisattva, shading its human frame. The mask. What makes a face into a molding of society and history? Performing one's gender is part of the boring social contract. Commenting on the sexual ambivalence in girls' comic books, Imaizumi Fumiko insists that girls' deepest desire is to be neither male nor female. They take on a sexless role that departs from the adult woman's subservient role in life, feeling that reality and dreams can be reversed by changing male and female appearances. Only when behavior carefully rehearsed becomes collective do differences fully take on their individual color. The relentless pressures to conform, the endless demand for freedom. Like nature, human nature itself is carefully molded. The choreography of everyday activities and of every stage role has been kept alive for centuries. Suddenly, here I am, carried by the cadence and the swift metamorphosis of the line, its continuity, tensions, improvisations, and repetitions. The exact train system mirrors the structure of the society it serves. Machines and people work in mutual accord. Once the choice for a destination is made, it can be altered anytime, in any way during the journey. For the fare registered by the machine can always be readjusted by the human hand. Itineraries are modified as so desired, without any fuss or distrust, for no one seeks to beat the system. When treated with mutual respect, human and machine share the same devotion to duty. the infinite lines of railways regulating the urban space. On the no dance, Okakura Kakuzo decreed, the standard of excellence is an infinite suggestiveness, naturalism the one thing to be condemned. Nothing is more lustrous than eyes. Hitori Goto. Time. Time frozen in its movement. Long ago, Dogen warned, if you neglect the formality of guest and host, you can understand neither the true nor the phenomenal. In the 7th century, during his visit to the Shadow's Cave in the kingdom of Nagarahara, the Chinese traveling monk Xuanzang noted that in olden times, one could see there the shadow of Buddha, as radiant as his natural appearance, and one would have thought it was the living Buddha himself. But for the last few centuries, one has no longer seen this shadow clearly. Whatever one sees is only a weak and doubtful resemblance.
このわろがこちら向くまで座りみよ勝手隠さぬものが面目行動者
To survive, spirituality would have to come to us from all the ordinary images of life. It is said that when Shakyamuni lost his ordinary sight, one branch of a plum tree blossomed in the snow. The principle underlying Japanese cultural forms, says Nyosekan Hasegawa, is the control of feeling. A control ideally meant to intensify emotion without flooding the recipient. Bridge, train, passenger. What's in motion? Windows closed, muted soundtrack, no body movement, only the erotic rocking of human against machine. Landscape, image, wagon, viewer. What's moving in the midst of stillness? Traveling anew, with video images, put online, displayed on screen. From one spectacle to the next, mobility of human sets, possession of window images, the landscape wired, now glimpsed, now no longer seen, morphing, changing, from 1 minute to the next. Shooting in rural Japan, one often shoots in corporate mentality. Collective highlights, collective shots, collective climax, collective photography.
No!
a night heron, sitting tense on one leg, ready to strike in clear water with one single swoop. Passing through the Torii Gate, one encounters an inside Japan, only to be made more aware of an outside Japan. Torii Gate, setting off the mundane from the spiritual. What we see passes away, the more evident becomes the background, while the minor details go on shifting what is seen and heard. The other dimension, gaseous and liquid, because what appears evident to the eye is the straight line. Normal perception is solid, geometric, clear-cut, and divisive.
検証成仏サラジュゲ83歳老農白隠総眼鏡なしに書く
Vast emptiness, nothing holy. Ingrained in modern social interaction and political performance, ritual is not compatible with industrial speed. To perform a ritual, one must slow down. Japanese women of old are said to have this impassive look of the mask and to live like masks, with their deepest energies turned inward. Surface is surface, and yet boundless is the depth of the surface that neither conceals nor reveals. What if, in this journey, like Enchi and Soseki, I were to regard events as parts of a no play, and the people as its actors, curbing my emotions to get near to the no atmosphere? No, not to probe the whys and wherefores of the characters' behavior, and to pry into their daily worries, but to let them move about and come to me in full lines from a two-dimensional picture. Video, a delight for the drowsy body, screen against screen, mutually access, mutually process, activated and shut off. processions, parades, time organized in sequences. The time of light. The Sanman Gate of Nanzenji, massive, unique, one among the 1,000 gates. Gates, bridges, corridors, intricate passages in time, sequences of infinity. In the Nihon Shoki, the introduction of the art of gardens is linked to the arrival in the year 612 of a Korean refugee who, in order to gain residence in Japan, called attention to his talent for representation and was put in charge of tracing the figures of Mount Sumeru and the Bridge of Wu in the southern garden of the palace. People call him then the Path Maker. Walking with Basho, the lines of a haiku come to visibility. Traveler's heart never settle long in one place, like a portable fire. Small, restrained, evocative, an aesthetic in tune with the fragility and uncertainty of life. A model of understatement with its shades of gray. Japan, the home of the module unit, the first of the prefab lands, wrote a foreign resident. A governing system whose organization is largely based on microstructures and prefabricated cells. stop by the side of a merry-making event, and a procession reveals to the mind's eye, clear and loud, as a cluster of melodic, rhythmic, action-propelling, and structure-bearing cells. Mobile people, telepresent in a transmitted scene. Where to? Groping one's way in the midst of time as the fog slowly dissipates, leading to a clearing, a new place, a new picture. All lie uncomfortably between fact and fancy, there where in the heart of an insular culture, even the mobile world of invisible narrators, of uneven times and odd rhythms, finds its place in the precise framing of daily activities. Zen picture, demythologize, open distance, nothing sacred.
戦仏常駐、戦仏に嫌われ、群馬大理、群馬に憎まれ、今時目標の邪道苦時近代ダムの合唱を皆殺しにす、斜藩醜悪の発火徳、修上衆をそうまた一す。
In the realm of the thousand Buddhas, he is hated by 1,000 Buddhas. Among the crowd of demons, he is detested by the crowd of demons. He crushes the silent illumination heretics of today and massacres the heterodox blind monks of this generation. This filthy, blind old shave-pate adds more foulness still to foulness. Hakuin Zenji. May 19. Democracy was crushed by state power. The parliament forcibly adopted the revised treaty, binding Japan to the American security system. June 16, 1960. The Asahi Evening News and the Mainichi Daily News reported the death of Kamba Michiko during a bloody demonstration against the government of Prime Minister Kishi and the signing of the renewed Japan-US Security Treaty. Kamba Michiko, a student of Tokyo University and a well-known leader of the 20,000 Zengakuren students who besieged the legislative building, had previously been arrested for taking part in the earlier demonstration at Haneda to prevent the Prime Minister from leaving for the United States. The official narratives unanimously condemned the violence of the event that shook and shocked the nation, while alternative voices blamed the ultra-nationalists for having set the demonstrators afire by attacking them ferociously. Such an insurrection, also referred to as bloody left-wing riots in Japan, happening before President Eisenhower's scheduled arrival in Tokyo, was said to have appalled Washington and America's president, who declared he would not permit unpleasant incidents to interfere with the goodwill tour he was undertaking to improve the climate of international understanding. Upon looking at how time is expressed in writing, and how a death can express the passing of a historical age and its people, Genzaburo Oe particularly recalls the death of Tsuburaya Kokichi, a young runner in the Olympics who committed suicide in 1968 because, in his own words, the man was too tired to run for national prestige. But in the history of women's resistance and of women pathmakers of the 60s, it is the name of Kamba Michiko that comes to many women's lips as I inquire about the one political figure that strikes their memory. Kamba Michiko's death may be said to have marked the turning point for the image the world had of Japan. With the repression of a civic society, what was then launched was a new image of Japan as a corporate society, for which the only way to progress was the Western way. highly advanced, and yet not independent. A global economic power struggling today to reorient itself, to turn toward Asia without turning its back on the West. Ambivalent Japan, isolated from other Asian nations and confined to her half-scrutable strangeness by the West. In America, the very nation with which she signed the security treaty, suspicion is always lurking at the slightest sign of trade competition. The ordinary. The extraordinary. Part-time women's labor. The million-yen wall, full-time family shadow work, the issue of homemaking, indispensable, but invisible. Japan's stigma, the lot of its millions of outcasts and others, natives, exile and immigrants, discriminated against, the Ainu, the Okinawan, the Burakumin, the ethnic Koreans and also Chinese, the workers from Southeast Asia and the Middle East, all essential to Japan's progress and identity as a modern nation, but confined to the underpaid, underprivileged margins.
Thank you for coming to Shirakago Gassho no Sato. It will be over soon. Please check your staff carefully. We'll be looking forward to seeing you again in the future.
Sliding open the blinding screens, I find myself stepping suddenly into the fourth dimension. Speeding. Everywhere one turns, someone is trying to sell speed. The fast species.
これは軍を同断不思議なることを受けたまわり候ものかなそれは疑うところもなく
The peculiar vibrations of graphic space, graphic time. The whole of visual environment finds its dynamism in the graphic line. skip to the time as required by television. Screen space, say TV programmers, is always limited. But as novelist Hisashi Inoue once said, I don't like bonsaiism. It's perfectly alright for some trees to grow big and wild.
器用に焼きように栄えることを記念いたしましてかがり火を焚きます。おー。
The journey unfolds to the unseen but dominant framing of time. Three times in one, present, past, future. As soon as one is in time, time no longer flees. Standing still, it opens out. No performance, as Soseki affirmed, is 3/10 real emotion, 7/10 technique, layers upon layers, clad with art to weave a tapestry of gestures of serenity that is to be found nowhere else in this world. Yet for Enchi Fumiko, we are no actors, moving in the screen space of ritual, ethical life. The skill of behavior, the craft of framing time, the art of path. What else but the shape of living, caught in the unfolding course of a digital play. the determination to never wage a war again, as Kenzaburo Oe remarks, is a resolve adopted not by innocent people, but people stained by their own history of territorial invasion. Ritual on screen. Whenever it happens in a context dominated by a machine, ritual defies the very rhythm feeding that machine's needs. Video time, a temporal trap, individual inertia as the result of ever-increased speed of programmed agency. From inside the train, looking up at the wide sky, moving on, wireless, rootless, unplugged. Kisho Kurokawa spoke of Japanese aesthetics as being primarily two-dimensional and gray. He laid focus on temporal intervals, intermediary zones, and silent spaces, on the necessity to create with the ma of things and events. For a person without ma is scorned as a stupid fellow, one who lacks calm and is unable to tune in with the gray zone of Japanese culture. Images have come upstream toward the traveler. They appear on the screen with each step. Front foot, back foot, one moves with them. One stops by the road to chat with them. And they know how to show certain things, but cannot always tell why they show things the way they do. He wrote, "No one knows where and when this dew-like existence will drop into the grass."
無償確年無償
The fourth dimension, to be attentive to the infraordinary. An intrusion of eternity.
She's embarrassed.
When you see autumn colors, do not be partial to them. You should allow the 4 seasons to advance in one viewing and see an ounce and a pound with an equal eye. Dogen Zenji.
こにはね字が書いてありません。これも字が書くというとね、普通の一般のお墓ですとね、亡くなった人の名前とかね、官名とか。
早瀬のかや分け入る身にはありそう場所。
The entire world is our mind, the mind of a flower.